This is another Black in Review moment.
Let me tell you something. I've been staring at this photo for a long time. It's black and white, dated 1958. A woman stands on the tarmac like she owns the sky. Tailored uniform, hat sitting perfect, white gloves, posture straight. She looks unstoppable, like a movie star, like a woman who made it. Her name is Ruth Carol Taylor, and if you only look at that picture, you'd think this is a simple story. A victory, the first black flight attendant, and scene, roll credits. But that photo is a lie. Not because it's fake, because it's incomplete. Photos capture the moment of celebration. They never capture the bruises. They don't show the door slammed in your face, the polite smile that comes with a hard no. They don't show what happens after the applause fades and you have to live in the world that still doesn't want you there. I'll admit it. I came into this thinking it would be a feel-good historical moment, something clean and inspirational. But Ruth's life isn't clean. It's complicated. It's frustrating. It's heartbreaking. And somehow, it's also full of power. Because Ruth didn't just fight once. She fought her whole life. So let's rewind before the uniform, before the headlines. Ruth was born in Boston in 1931, but she was raised on a farm in upstate New York. That matters, because farm life gives you something: toughness, rhythm, the understanding that nobody's coming to save you. In 1955, she graduated from the Bellevue School of Nursing in New York City. Now listen. Bellevue wasn't just any school. For a black woman in the 1950s, becoming a registered nurse from Bellevue meant you were elite. You had status. You had stability. Ruth had a career. She had security. She didn't need to be a flight attendant. It was because she wanted something bigger, something symbolic. Because in the 1950s, being a stewardess wasn't just a job. It was glamour, travel, sophistication, the American fantasy. But that fantasy had a quiet rule. Young, single, white. That's who the airlines were selling. Not a nurse, not a professional, not a black woman. And here's the part that still makes my stomach tighten. TWA rejected her. They sent a letter citing physical standards. Physical standards. Let's translate that real quick. You're not white. And this is where I want you to feel the frustration. Ruth met the requirements. Height, weight, everything. They were hiding racism behind bureaucracy. And it worked. But Ruth didn't go home. She filed a complaint with the New York State Commission against discrimination. That's not just courage. That's defiance. Now, while she's fighting TWA, a smaller regional airline pops up. Mohawk Airlines, based in upstate New York. PR move? Sure. But it opened a door. And when that door cracked open, 800 black women applied. 800. Let that number sit with you for a second. Because even today, you still hear companies say, "We'd love to diversify, but the talent isn't there." That old pipeline excuse. In 1957, 800 black women raised their hands for a regional airline job. The talent was always there. The opportunity wasn't. Ruth was chosen. But here comes the complicated part, the part that's uncomfortable. But we're not skipping it. Colorism played a role. Ruth was light-skinned, nearly white passing by her own words. Mohawk wanted to look progressive, but not too progressive. They wanted change without making white passengers uncomfortable. And Ruth knew it. But here's what makes her strategic. She used what she had. She didn't pretend the privilege didn't exist. She treated it like a tool. If my light skin gets me through the door, she basically said, then I'm going through the door. And once I'm in, it'll be harder to shut this thing behind me. She became the wedge. February 11th, 1958, Ruth flies her first flight, Ithaca to New York City. The media goes wild. Jet magazine, major papers. The whole country is watching. And for a moment, it's joyful. It's pride. It's that feeling of, look at us. A black woman in that uniform didn't just serve passengers. It shifted what people believed black women could be. But then the joy gets ripped away. Her career lasted 6 months. 6 months after everything. And not because she failed, because she got married. That's the part that makes you want to throw something. Stewardesses had to be single. Married, fired, pregnant, fired. Meanwhile, pilots, men could have families and live however they wanted. Ruth broke the race barrier and got crushed by sexism. So by summer 1958, she's grounded. And if this story was built for Hollywood, this is where they'd cut to the happy ending. But Ruth wasn't built like that. She reinvented herself. She became a journalist, moved to the Caribbean, wrote internationally for a magazine called Flamingo, covering the Afro-Caribbean diaspora riots in the UK and independence movements in the West Indies. That matters because it expanded her vision. She stopped seeing racism as only American. She saw it as global, systemic, everywhere. In 1963, she came back and covered the March on Washington. Not just marching, but reporting. 5 years earlier, she was the headline. Now she was telling history as it happened. Then, the later chapter gets heavy. Brooklyn, single mother, raising her son, Lawrence. In 1985, Lawrence is mugged. And Ruth gets shaken awake in a new way, the kind of fear that only hits when it's your child. She looked at young black men in her neighborhood and said they were an endangered species. Targets not just for criminals, but for the system itself. So she wrote The Little Black Book, Black Male Survival in America. Not a memoir, not a celebration, a survival manual. How to keep your hands visible when pulled over. Don't argue. Don't make sudden moves. Your goal isn't to win the moment. Your goal is to survive it. She wrote that in 1985, before smartphones, before body cams, before hashtags. She was trying to save her son. Ruth passed away in May 2023 at 91 years old, but here's the part that broke me. A few months before she died, a woman ordered that survival guide, Harriet C., and wrote a note. It helped her sons, and now it's needed for her grandchildren. That's the sadness. That's the frustration. 40 years later, and it's still needed. We've made progress in access. We see diversity in crews, black executives, black pilots. But the war for safety, that's still going. So when you think about Ruth Carol Taylor, don't just think the first. First are static. Ruth was dynamic. She kicked open a door in the sky, and then spent the rest of her life trying to make sure the people behind her could survive on the ground. And next time you're on a flight, look around at the crew, because that diversity didn't happen by accident. Somebody paid for it. And Ruth left us more than a moment. She left us a manual. Maybe it's time we really read it.